All right, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for the regular scheduled village board meeting on February 10th, 2026. With that, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lana, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold.
Here.
Trustees Amos.
Here.
Babiak. Here. Brockman.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Luciano. And Selfridge.
Here.
All right, we do have a quorum to conduct village business this evening. With that, we'll move on to citizens' comments. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address the village board? Seeing none, we'll move into this evening's consent agenda. Item number 1 will be approval of the regular meeting minutes from January 27th, 2026. Item 2 is approval of accounts payable in the amount of $595,281. Item 3 is approval of a payment in the amount of $40,802.50 to Steve Spice Construction for the BSMO water main replacement project. Item 4 will be approval of payment in the amount of $257,787.99 to Joseph J. Henderson & Sons for the pumping station and the 5 million gallon reservoir project. Item number 5 will be approval of a payment in the amount of $26,704.53 to Noble Tuck LLC for the network switching equipment. Item 6 is approval of payment in the amount of $13,698.36 to Feast Oil for the Public Works overhead fuel system reels. Item 7, approval of payment in the amount of $25,496.06 to Porter Corporation for the Rivers Edge Park Phase B project shelter. And finally, item number 8 would be a payment in the amount of $12,455.35 as balance due to current technologies for the PD, some of the PD's equipment over there. Does any trustees have any questions or need any further explanation on any of our consent agenda items? If none, take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by trustee Babiak, second by trustee Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Babiak.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
All right, consent's been approved. Moving on to reports communications. Lana, is there anything that you had received prior to this evening's meeting?
No, sir.
Thank you. Real quick with that, members of the board, to those that may already do know, today we had a great opportunity. We had student council from Troy School District here today. We had about 37 students come out and participate. Great interaction, great learning experience, and we definitely, at least before they left, we had some positive feedback, and look forward to hearing back a little bit more on that and how it went. But again, everybody seemed to have a good time. I think Trustee Brockman was here. I thank you to all the staff members that participated, and I do believe that we had some good fun with the students and the teachers and staff that came out here to support that. So great opportunity, and thank you for everybody for participating. With that, we'll move into this evening's order of business. Business item number 1 will be a consideration for approval of an ordinance authorizing and directing the erection of stop signs at certain intersections with Burton Boulevard and installation of speed humps on Burton Boulevard. This item is up for a first read. Over to Public Works, Mr. Noriega.
Thank you, Mayor. So based on village board direction, we have prepared stop sign and speed hump ordinance for Burton Boulevard. The speed humps added into the ordinance is not required, but we have added to show clear legislative direction from the village board. We have also proposed a total of 6 locations for the speed humps. The traffic engineers recommended that we add a 6th location just east of Maslin. Basically, it identifies the traffic they are entering into the subdivision. Speed humps are evenly spaced through the subdivision along Burton, so as not to cause any ADA issues. We mentioned that we were going to install kind of the speed humps at the, we talked about raised crosswalks near the middle school. But because of ADA concerns, and this is just temporary, we're not putting it right at the crosswalk, but we will be nearby at an adjacent location. And if it becomes more permanent in the near future, then we will plan to do all of the ADA improvements along with the raised crosswalk. The stop signs are being proposed at Breckenridge, Hamilton, and Maslin. You'll notice that we did not put one at Richards. Traffic engineers reviewing it, it is, Richards and Hamilton is just too close together, that we feel that as much as we are trying to impact this neighborhood with traffic and slowing them down, it would cause a negative effect. The intersections are recommended if it was at least 150 feet apart. We're at 90 feet apart. And there is one driveway in the middle of such that would most likely have concerns, would stop traffic there a lot. So if you review the stop sign speed humps and the location and the graphic that I have provided, you will see that the stop signs and the speed humps are almost spaced approximately 400 feet apart through the entire corridor. We are recommending the village board approve the ordinance authorizing the installation of an all-way stop intersections and temporary speed humps along Burton. Any questions?
And obviously, this is a result of doing the study, and Trustee Selfridge, I think we had talked when you and I had shared some of the concerns. I believe some of the other trustees, Mr. Amos and Brockman did. We would put the speed monitoring trailer back out there relatively soon, so that we can kind of get a generalized number as to what traffic count is, and then therefore, once we implement the stop signs, the speed tables, correct?
There's speed cushions, that's very identified.
So once we have something else out there, we can go back in about 6 months and we can get an evaluation and see, are we seeing a reduction in speeds and traffic counts? So I know there was a metric I know you and I had kind of referenced, wanting to make sure that we are having some sort of evidentiary substance to this.
That was going to be my follow-up, just to make sure that we had, it said evaluate the effect, right? So I think the count will be good. I think it'll be good to see what the speed is, right? I think our own PD did their own analysis prior to the study, seeing how many cars were going speeding, see if that changes as well. I think it would be good to see 6 months is probably a good time to take.
And that was, we wanted to do at least 6 months to give it some time to see, as people start to find that and see that inconvenience is there, and just avoid the area. And then we obviously will get an opportunity to start to see what those speed reductions are as some time applies as well.
And we only have one trailer? One police counter or two?
We have 2 trailers. We have, it's deployed now. We're monitoring the eastbound traffic. After 7 days, we'll turn on and monitor westbound traffic.
But my only other thought is to maybe monitor Black Road to see if we see it going down on Burton, like where's it going? And Black Road might be the one that makes it
We
most
can
sense.
move that, and once we finish,
Yeah.
as Chief mentioned, we can get it over to the black and kind of get a generalized number for us too. We know this isn't going to be exact details, but it definitely gives us some sort of ballpark information. And I think at least everybody understands that we're getting results. Anybody else have any other questions, comments, or concerns? I'd like to waive the second read if everybody's so inclined.
I'd like to get it moved along too, it's been long enough.
If you do the honors.
Make a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing and directing the erection of stop signs at certain intersections with Burton Boulevard and installing speed humps on Burton Boulevard and waive the second reading.
Motion by Trustee Brockman,
Second.
second by Trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Chapman,
I probably don't agree with the method that we're using, but at least we're moving forward for the safety of those people, so I'm gonna vote yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Babiak.
Yes.
All right, item number one's been approved. And I think the board is aware, there was a concern, it was about 12 years ago when there were some actions taken trying to help mitigate it. So, I thank the board for taking the time and the effort, and the residents for putting forth and exercising those concerns and working with the police department to help bring this forward. And let's hope that this does bring some solace and some resolution. With that, business item number 2 will be the consideration for approve the purchase of the traffic calming speed humps from Traffic Logics in the amount not to exceed $50,000 over to Public Works. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, though.
I'll make
You
it
wanna
quick.
touch on it, Noriel?
I'll make it quick. So there are 6 locations. We reviewed 2 different vendors. Traffic Logic, they're both very similar, but what Traffic Logic was able to provide to us is a cheaper alternative for the product that we're looking for. And then number 2, The representative is local. He lives in Peoria, so he will provide support for Public Works when we do the installation. So we are recommending the village board approve the proposal from Traffic Logic for the purchase of speed humps in the amount not to exceed $50,000. Any questions?
Your picture, the reading says you're gonna go from curb to curb,
Pretty close to it, yes.
but the picture shows it's off the curb, 4 or 5 feet.
It's just an example. We
Okay.
will be
But you will be
pretty close to the curb. We don't want traffic to try to
Absolutely
leave one
not.
wheel off of it, but we do have to allow for
Water drainage.
curb flow.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the purchase of traffic calming speed humps from Traffic Logics in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
Motion by trustee Selfridge, seconded by trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Bediak.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, item number 2 has been approved. Thank you, sir. With that, move on to business number 3 would be a consideration for approval of an office license agreement extension between the Village of Shorewood and the Plainfield Shorewood Area Chamber of Commerce. Over to the administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just a refresh of the contract that we have. They occupy space downstairs. In fact, they really have more room than they need. They really don't need both those rooms, but we don't have a single office anywhere. Chamber's been a good partner with the fest. They've also provided the village with a great deal of extra supplies that we've used throughout the year. They buy them for the fest, but then we own them. They transfer ownership to us, like ramps with cords. We use them all in our parties in the park and all of our other events. Some bike fencing and things like that. So they've been an excellent partner. So the staff is recommending you guys should consider refreshing the lease for 3 years.
It's a good opportunity. There seems to be economic development's doing some more business interaction and getting more people in here. So we're nice to see some more interaction in and out of that office. Make a motion if everybody's okay.
I'll make the motion for the approval of an office license agreement extension between the Village of Shorewood and the Plainfield Shorewood Area Chamber of Commerce.
Motion by trustee Selfridge.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Chapman. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Bediak.
I actually have to abstain from this vote due to my relationship with the chamber.
Brockman,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Okay, it still carries. We do have a majority there. All right. Moving on to business item number 4 would be a consideration for approval of the purchase of a 1-year subscription to Sophos MDR from Into Technologies in the amount of $16,146.50. Mr. McCluskey with the IT department.
Thank you, Mayor. I am before you tonight seeking the approval of Sophos MDR software for purchase of 1 year. So we currently have endpoint protection on our devices, all Shorewood devices. This is kind of the next step up of that. While it's not currently a requirement of our cyber liability insurance, it's very likely to be a requirement soon. So we're trying to be proactive rather than reactive in this regard. So what this does is it gives us another level up from what we currently have. Sophos will be actively monitoring our threats that we see in our environment and then working with me directly to alleviate those, remedy those, and should the worst happen, they will be, part of this agreement would be to assist in the recovery of any information that we lose and to remedy the situation. So I did request competing quotes from different vendors. Each vendor kind of had a different way of accomplishing the same thing, so the quotes were a little bit apples to oranges, but at the end of the day, each of the different proposals would have met our requirements for what we were looking for. So this would be for a subscription for 1 year, for the total of $16,146.50, and that is my recommendation before the board tonight. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Mr. McCluskey?
This is just to back up all our data so we can go retrieve it if we need it.
No, so this isn't backup, this is active monitoring and recovery of our systems. So if there's an active threat or activity on our networks, this will identify that and mitigate it. So this is proactive versus a backup, which is reactive. If something happens, this is trying to stop the threat in its tracks. Now, it's not always going to be 100%, but it's a step up from what we're currently doing.
Okay, I think I'm there.
Okay.
All right, but that's what we got you for, Bill.
Yes. Yep.
All right, so,
And if they detect something, do they contact you and
Yes.
bring you in? Okay.
Yes. So this is a kind of an assistant
Yeah.
to me in this regard. Yes.
You wouldn't think it, but people are trying to hack into our system every day almost.
Oh, yeah, we have the same
So
24/7.
it's something we've just gotta have. It's part of our cyber insurance policy and other things like that. So, you wouldn't think anybody would have any interest in what we have, but they simply do, so.
Bill, it's the same protection as the $37,000 quote you got from the other company?
Yeah, so the top quote was, or the highest quote we got was from CrowdStrike and Proven
Yeah.
IT. So this was a rip and replace of our current solution,
Sure.
and then adding managed services by Proven IT on top of that. So we were getting a endpoint solution, a managed detection and response solution, which is the MDR component, and then their professional service on top of it. They weren't going to quote the professional services without their product that they wanted to include on that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll make a motion for the approval of the purchase of a 1-year subscription of Sophos MDR and N2 Technologies in the amount of $16,146.50.
Second.
Motion by trustee Selfridge, seconded by trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Amos,
Yes.
Babiak.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
yes.
And Selfridge.
Yes.
All right, business item number 4 has been approved. Moving on to business item number 5 will be a consideration for approval of the purchase of IBM hardware and professional services from Mobile Tech LLC in the amount of $26,485.24. Back over to Mr. McCluskey.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight I am before you to request the purchase of another SAN. So this time is for the SAN here at the Village Hall. SAN is a storage area network, so this is all of the village information from Public Works and Village Hall stored here on site. The current solution is at 5.5 years old. That is approaching the end of life. We're in a situation now where we can replace it, so it's advised to rather replace it than wait for it to fail. I did receive quotes from Dell and IBM. This time around, rather than the PD where Dell was considerably higher, they were much more in the ballpark, but they're still the higher bid of the two. This IBM equipment will match what we're getting at the PD. So there's a little bit of an advantage there too, like hardware. All vendors were asked to quote the hardware, which is comparable to our current capabilities. So we're not really advancing anything. We're just kind of doing a hardware refresh. We're not trying to add anything beyond what we currently have. This item was originally slated for 2027, but due to our current financial and standing development of change shortages, chip shortages, it's kind of advisable to do it now rather than wait and see if we can do it, if it's even available. Right now, this equipment is available, it's ready to go. They can't promise that if we wait, it would be available because they're hitting some hard limits on that. Noble Tech LLC will be providing professional services for the installation and migration to this solution, and that is included in the quote for you tonight for a total of $5,400 for 40 hours of service to get this up and running. To assist me on that. My recommendation for you is to approve the purchase of IBM hardware and professional services from Noble Tech LLC, as described above, for the quote totaling $26,485.24. Is there any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Mr. McCluskey?
Motion to approve as read by Bill.
We have a motion by trustee Amos,
Second.
second by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Babiak.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
All right, item number 5 has been approved. Item number 6. This one's a little more of a housekeeping here for us. Consideration approval of a resolution declaring a surplus in the Jefferson Street Route 59 tax increment financing allocation district and subsequent payment of $32,713.38 to the Will County Treasurer. Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. Presented before you this evening is a resolution declaring a surplus within the TIF. This follows the guidelines that were set out in the creation of the TIF. Since that TIF is in year 8, the surplus is declared as 5% of those receipts collected this year, which makes that surplus amount $32,713.38. The way that surplus is allocated by the county treasurer is set out based on the allocation each taxing district has within the TIF. That schedule is an appendix to that packet item. So the county treasurer splits those amounts out and sends a check out to each taxing district at your direction. Be happy to take any questions.
And real quick, Ann, how many taxing bodies are getting a refund out of this? Is it 9, 10?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
12.
Including us.
Including, okay.
So,
And the TIF was established in
2016, but due to the timing of it, this is only the 8th year of that surplus declaration.
Okay.
So the 2017 tax year was the first year of TIF receipts.
And
Yeah.
do we have the exact number that's built up in that TIF district so far?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, at the close of this fiscal year, at March 31st of 26, we're projecting just over $2 million available in that TIF for allowable expenses.
Anybody else have any questions for Ann regarding that TIF refund?
I'll make a motion for the approval of a resolution declaring a surplus in the Jefferson Street and Route 59 tax increment financing allocation district and a subsequent payment of $32,713.38 to the Will County Treasurer.
Second.
Motion by trustee Selfridge, seconded by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Babiak.
Yes.
All right, item 6 has been approved. Item number 7, the consideration of an ordinance granting the conditional use for outdoor storage in an I-5 zoning district for clear wave fiber. This item is also up for a first read. Start off with trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. We held a public hearing at our last meeting. We did have one resident get up and speak for the project, and I will quote him. He said, "Clear wave fiber would be a perfect tenant, and he would be glad to have them as neighbors." So with that and with some other discussion, it comes to this body with a 7-0 vote recommendation. And Natalie, I'm sure you have plenty to say about this, so if you could continue, please.
Thank you. So Clearway Fiber is interested in moving into 1001 Geneva. This is the property previously occupied by Schwann's, and recently you approved a site plan for an expanded parking area and an 8-foot privacy fence. Clearwave is a fiber internet company. They're expanding in suburban Chicago. They would like to use the space for their construction offices and would like to store materials. The business will operate between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. and they'll have approximately 5 employees at the site. They don't do like midnight repairs or anything like that, so once they're moved in, it should be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. no longer. They expect to have about 3 semi-truck deliveries per week, and they don't anticipate having any public coming and going from the site. Based on the zoning code, they can operate their offices and store stuff inside without any additional approval. It's something staff can approve. However, a conditional use permit is needed if they want to store outside. They would like to store construction material like fiber conduit wheels, spools, vaults, and materials for installing handholds. They store in the rear yard of the property. They anticipate that most of the materials won't be any taller than 8 feet, but with an 8-foot fence, according to the zoning code, they could go up to 10 feet tall, and they don't expect to have anything at all taller than that. Most of their employees will drive SUVs and pickup trucks, which they'll often bring home with them. Some of these will have utility trailers on them, like in the picture, which has a large spool attached to it. They'll also have some specialty vehicles like bucket trucks and hydro excavators on the property. All the vehicles will be parked in proper parking spaces that were shown on the plan that you approved at the recent meeting. This is a copy of the site plan. without highlighting, sorry. So this is a copy of the site plan. The area shown in yellow will be for the outdoor storage. If they did stripe the parking spaces, they would also be able to park those specialty vehicles back there. And then the area highlighted in blue will be where they can park their passenger vehicles, like their SUVs and pickup trucks. And then in red is where they've proposed the fence. They're either planning to install a solid vinyl privacy fence or a solid vinyl or a solid wood privacy fence. They're working with a fence contractor, and they think they can get the fence up in approximately 3 weeks. They are hoping to get the asphalt in just as soon as those asphalt plants open. So that would likely mean that, you know, everything would be buttoned up by the end of May. Unfortunately, they have a client the property owner has a client who wants to move in right away, and because of weather, they can't get these things done. So they've asked to be able to do a temporary certificate of occupancy where they could move in, provided that they got the fence up by April 1st and the parking lot up, but done, complete, striped and everything by June 1st. And they expect the work to be about $65,000. They would post an $80,000 occupancy bond with us that we could use to secure that. So if they didn't get the work done, we could pull the bond. We have an ordinance attached to your packet. We've included the information about the temporary CO and the occupancy bond on the draft. We also have the conditions that appear on the screen. It includes having the outdoor storage no taller than 10 feet tall, having the inside the 8-foot privacy fence, reducing drop-offs and pickups between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. and only when there's a staff member present, parking the vehicles in designated parking spaces only. We also have some prohibitions in there, including any overnight parking of semis, any cargo container storage, and any work on the vehicles other than like maybe washing them. You may have noticed that Clearwave kind of jumped the gun and they moved in before coming before you and asking for permission. While we weren't happy with this, we were pretty satisfied at how quickly they resolved the issue. As soon as we contacted them, they immediately located a local site to move stuff to and, you know, moved everything off of the property, so we were happy about that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. The property owner is also in the audience.
Trustee Brock, you said during planning and zoning you had the neighbor that's adjacent has come out in support of this project?
We did. He's directly south of the property. I don't know if there'd be anybody any closer than he would be, but, and thank you, Aaron, for turning my mic on. No worries. Which was kind of unheard of at planning and zoning. You don't get many people lined up to say, yeah, we'll agree with this, with the project. So that was great to hear. So,
Do we have the April 1 fence up in writing, or is that just a?
Yes, so we've written it into the ordinance, and then, you know, once they got everything done they needed to do, we wouldn't issue a full certificate of occupancy. We would issue a temporary certificate of occupancy that would expire if they didn't get the work done in time.
The work that I'm concerned with is the fence. Is that called out? Can we enforce that, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does the bonding, I guess, work with the fence? So April 1st, say there's no fence up, we tell them to cease operations. Is the village going to install a fence and use the bond proceeds, or does it follow up some sort of?
So what they would be posting would be a bond, so we would have to go through the bond, the insurance company that would issue the bond, and we'd have to pull the bond. So it would definitely be a more complicated process than that, but it's a stick, right? So we're holding money, so they'd be required to do it, and the biggest stick we would have is if April 1st that wasn't out, we'd say you have no occupancy, you have to move out.
Okay, so that's the one trigger, and then come June 1st again if the pavement isn't done.
Correct.
This is the property owner.
Yes.
The fence will be up by April 1? Sir, the fence will be up by April 1?
Yes, actually fence will start next week, and they said it takes 3 weeks. We hope it will be done by March 1st.
Okay, very good.
We're on the top, and we're working with the village, and
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
if there's no other questions or concerns, I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance granting a conditional use for outdoor storage in I-5 zoning district for Clearwave Fiber and waive the second read.
Second.
Motion by trustee Brockman, second by trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Babiak.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, item number 7 has been approved. With that, we'll move on to our final business item for this evening. Is item number 8 will be a consideration of 1, a resolution approving a site plan to allow the construction of a commercial solar energy facility, and 2, a resolution accepting a plat of dedication for County Line Solar. And also, this item is back over to trustee Brockman and Ms. Engel.
Okay, thank you again, Mayor. We looked at this at our last meeting. Short conversation on our side of the docket here, and comes here with a 7-0 vote from planning and zoning. So Natalie,
Sure.
would you like to fill in the blanks, please?
Absolutely. The County Line Solar Project is a 4.99 megawatt commercial solar energy facility planned for a 32.5 acre property that sits on the west side of County Line Road, south of Bell Road in Kendall County. In 2025, the village approved a Chatham annexation agreement and approved a preliminary site plan for the project. With the Chatham annexation agreement, although the property isn't contiguous to the village and isn't officially annexed to the village, our regulations, including our zoning ordinance and your approvals govern. The applicant has requested final site plan approval. The final site plan is consistent with the preliminary site plan. It includes rows of photovoltaic solar arrays that moves with the sun. There's an access provided from County Line Road, and the property is completely fenced. The area in red shows an area that we had talked about potentially having crops planted between the solar arrays, but in the end they've decided they're just going to plant grass and clover. So this would be mowed. They'd have to come out and keep it mowed consistent with our property maintenance ordinance. What you see in yellow would be pollinator garden, and then in the dark blue, the line you see would be the proposed fence. It's like an agricultural type fence, but then in the lighter blue is an area of perimeter landscaping. This is a copy of the landscape plan with just a zoom in of the different types of trees that are along the side of it. It's actually quite heavily landscaped, and it's a variety of tall shrubs and evergreen trees, and those were selected because they do a pretty good job of buffering, but they also don't shade the solar arrays. As part of the project, we did require that the road be dedicated, so they have a portion of road along County Line Road. Since it's not annexed to the village, this plat dedicates it to Troy Township, because Troy Township is responsible for that part of the road, but as soon as we're contiguous and the property becomes annexed, that roadway will come to us. We also asked them for 100 feet of right-of-way along the south end of their property. There's no road there now, but at some point we anticipate that we would extend Mound Road to the west between County Line and Ridge, so we have the right-of-way to be able to do that. So that is also dedicated, and that one comes directly to the village. The applicant and the property owner here, if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer some as well.
Anybody have any questions? I know we worked diligently with the solar company, the property owner, and try to make an amenable project for win-win for everybody in this solution. So,
Do we know when it's going to be finished?
Mr. Price? He would be a guy to answer that one.
I would. Excuse me. Mayor DeBoll, trustee, staff, good evening. Jeremy Price, Director of Development for the County Line Solar Project. As to construction, we look forward to working with the building department, and I think we should have something completed by year end.
And then would your company hold that property in the facility through the lifespan, or do you guys plan on divesting it?
We could divest it. I think we do have a buyer lined up for that project. But they are reputable, and they operate a lot of projects in the area, so you're in good hands, and the project is.
And so I guess that would be a question. If there's a transfer in ownership, all this stuff has to go with it, right? They have to comply and follow the site plans and everything?
Right, it all follows the land, and I don't actually believe that they're transferring the property. I think the property will stay with Mr. Martin.
That's
and
right.
so the solar farm approvals will get transferred to the other one, so these guys have done the entitlements. But the property owner's in the audience, then he'll keep ownership of it.
The new company will own the LLC, but of course the entitlements are to that special project.
That's all my questions.
Okay. I've got,
Yes, sir.
and this is just for my education.
Sure.
and other people too. The US grid, what's the percentage of solar in the US grid? And I'm asking this question even though I know the answer, so go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good question. I would say it fluctuates depending on the time of year. I think I'm not up to speed on the current numbers, but I would estimate somewhere around 10% at the most. 2%.
Yeah.
Renewables, perhaps 10%.
Yeah, and that's just for our education, so that we know when we do these things, just how much impact we are making on the electricity supply. And it might be something that we talk about more. Because there's no peak available in this, there's no peak power available with solar, there's no peak with wind. And that's everything that people need, that peak energy.
Sure. There's storage, and I know with the new legislation.
Batteries are coming, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's on the rise. There's not enough electrons in the grid, and there will continue to be a shortage. So
okay,
we appreciate everybody's support over the last 3 years.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If there's no other questions, we can take a motion to approve business item 8.
Okay, we'll make a motion to approve a resolution approving a site plan to allow the construction of a commercial solar energy facility and resolution accepting a plat of dedication for County Line Solar.
Motion by trustee Brockman,
Second.
second by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos,
Yes.
Babiak,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
All right, business item number 8 is approved. With that, we'll move into our trustee comments for the evening. Trustee Amos.
No comment?
Thank you, sir. Trustee Babiak.
No comment.
Thank you. Trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe our next planning zoning will be March 4th.
Yes.
Too early for an agenda, so that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, trustee Chapman.
No report. Just one comment. I wasn't trying to be cute with this individual. What I want to do is make a statement because I was doing a lot of research on the different feeds to the total U.S. grid, and it may make people want to think about how we use the land by putting these things on the land. The benefit that they give to the total overall demand is so small that it really can't make a big difference in what the United States is going to need. The land might be better off used for something else. Okay, so that was the only thing, and that's just recent that this came out. Okay, so I wasn't trying to be smarter than I am, because I do have my limitations. Okay. And thanks for being so candid. Okay.
Thank you. And over to trustee Selfridge.
I have one question that I didn't think of on that site plan on Geneva. The parking of other company trucks, is that going to be, that's not allowed under the new setup?
That is never been allowed. It was a neighborly arrangement, but we weren't involved in that one.
Okay. So it won't, it's not allowed, and, okay, thank you, that's all.
No problem. Thank you. And we have no need for an executive session. With that, we'll take a motion to.
Excuse me, I gotta get clarification from Laura. Dave, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, business item number 8, there were actually 2 resolutions. So, do we need 2 separate motions, or does the motion made for business item 8 cover both resolutions?
Yeah, I think both resolutions were read into the motion.
Okay, thank you.
We should be good. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, and then with that, take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by trustee Babiak.
Second.
Second by trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Amos,
Yes.
Babiak,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Selfridge.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you. We will do a committee of the